February 28th, 2026. The world shook. Iran's supreme leader, Khamenei, was killed in a strike carried out by the United States and Israel. The man who had ruled the Middle East for over 4 decades, dead. But if you think this is over, you are dead wrong. The real power was never his alone. This is not the story of one leader. This is the story of an organization that has operated from the shadows, controlling the Middle East for over 40 years, across borders, across governments, across time. Their name? The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, the IRGC. 1979, Iran erupted in revolution. The Shah, backed by the United States, was overthrown. Islamic cleric Ayatollah Khamenei seized power. But Khamenei had a problem. He didn't trust his own military. The officers of Iran's regular army had served the old regime. Could they be loyal to the revolution? Khamenei wasn't willing to find out. So he made a decision. He would build his own army, an army that answered only to the revolution. On April 22, 1979, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps was born, forged in the chaos of executions, purges, and political terror. This was not a national army. This was a revolutionary army, created to protect an ideology, not a country. And within just 1 year of its creation, it would be baptized in blood. Did you know this? The IRGC is not just an army. It has its own ground forces, navy, air force, ballistic missile units, intelligence services, and an elite special operations unit called the Quds Force, dedicated entirely to covert operations beyond Iran's borders. Estimated strength? Over 190,000 personnel. And here is what makes it truly terrifying. It operates completely independently from Iran's regular military. Iran has 2 armies, and the IRGC reports not to the president, but directly to the supreme leader. Think about what that means. No democratic elections, no parliamentary oversight. The IRGC answers to one authority, the Islamic regime itself. But the military is only part of the story. The IRGC also controls the economy, construction, energy, telecommunications, finance. An estimated 30 to 50% of Iran's entire economy is under IRGC control. A state within a state. That is not a metaphor. That is a fact. 1980. Saddam Hussein's Iraq invaded Iran. The Iran-Iraq War had begun. 8 years of bloodshed that would transform the IRGC into something monstrous. Facing a shortage of trained soldiers, Iran turned to the unthinkable. Young boys, some as young as 12, were handed plastic keys. They were told these were the keys to paradise. Then they were sent into minefields. They were used as human mine clearance devices. Estimated death toll, between 500,000 and 1 million. The exact number? No one knows. No one was counting carefully enough. But for the IRGC, this war was not only a tragedy, it was a furnace. Combat experience, organizational expansion, and a culture of martyrdom that feared nothing, not even death. When the war ended, the IRGC was no longer a militia. It had become one of the most dangerous military organizations in the Middle East. And from here, the story moves into a darker chapter. When the war ended, the IRGC set its sights on a new target, the entire Middle East. The Quds Force crossed Iran's borders and went to work. In Lebanon, it founded and armed Hezbollah. In Palestine, it funded and trained Hamas. In Yemen, it supplied the Houthi rebels with weapons and military training. In Iraq, it organized and armed Shia militia groups. This was not coincidence. This was a deliberate network built over 40 years for one purpose: proxy war. The IRGC knew it could not defeat the United States or Israel head-on. So instead, it built an army of armies. Dozens of armed groups across the Middle East, ready to strike, while Iran kept its hands clean. They call it the axis of resistance. The rest of the world calls it a terror network. And as of 2026, that network is still operational, even without its supreme leader. The IRGC's reach does not end on the battlefield. 1994, Buenos Aires, Argentina. A Jewish community center was bombed. 85 people killed, hundreds wounded. The deadliest terrorist attack in Argentine history. The man suspected of masterminding the attack? He later became a senior commander in the IRGC. This was not coincidence. Across Europe, Iranian dissidents have been hunted down and assassinated by IRGC operatives for decades. In 2011, a plot was uncovered on American soil, a plan to assassinate the Saudi ambassador in Washington, D.C. The operation was traced directly to the IRGC's Quds force. Wherever you are watching this video right now, there is a real possibility that IRGC operatives are active in your country. This is not a conspiracy theory. This is documented by intelligence agencies across Europe and North America. And at the center of all of it was one man, Qasem Soleimani. The CIA called him the most dangerous man in the Middle East. For over 2 decades, he commanded the Quds force, pulling strings in Syria, Iraq, Lebanon, and Yemen from the shadows. He was not a battlefield general. He was the producer of proxy wars, supplying weapons, funding, and strategy to armed groups across the region, spreading Iran's will throughout the Middle East. Then, on January 3, 2020, an American drone struck Baghdad International Airport. Soleimani was killed. The Middle East trembled. Iran swore revenge. But the IRGC did not stop, because the IRGC was never just one man. And from here, the story crashes into the present. April 2024. The IRGC launched over 300 missiles and drones directly at Israel. The first time in history that Iran had directly attacked the Israeli state. Then came February 28, 2026. Operation Epic Fury was launched by the United States and Israel. Supreme Leader Khamenei was killed. IRGC Commander Pakpour and approximately 40 senior officials were eliminated within hours. But here is what the world is missing. The IRGC may be more dangerous now than ever before. With its leadership gone, mid-level commanders have been granted the authority to launch retaliatory strikes independently. No one needs to give the order. They can act on their own. And right now, at this very moment, a crisis is unfolding that threatens the entire global economy. The Strait of Hormuz. 20% of the world's oil supply passes through this narrow waterway. The IRGC has effectively blockaded it. Before the blockade, 120 ships passed through every single day. Today, that number has dropped to just 5. President Trump has issued an ultimatum. Open the strait within 48 hours, or we will strike Iran. Iran has responded. Total resistance. This is not a distant conflict. This affects the price of gas at your local station. This affects the price of everything you buy. This is happening now, and the outcome is far from certain. So, with its leader gone, is the IRGC more dangerous, or is this the beginning of its collapse? History gives us a clear answer. When Soleimani died, the IRGC didn't stop. Now Khamenei is dead, and the IRGC's military power remains intact. 190,000 soldiers, ballistic missiles, a nuclear program inching toward completion, and a proxy network spread across the entire Middle East. None of that disappears with one man's death. Meanwhile, the people of Iran have lived under IRGC oppression for decades. In 2022, a young woman was arrested for removing her hijab. She died in custody. And across Iran, millions took to the streets, chanting "Woman, Life, Freedom." The IRGC crushed that movement with force. The people of Iran want to be free from the IRGC's grip. But the organization endures. Born from the flames of revolution in 1979, it has outlasted leaders, commanders, and crises. And now it faces its greatest test yet. We are watching the ending of this story in real time. What do you think? After Khamenei's death, is the IRGC a greater threat to the world? Or is this finally the beginning of the end? Let us know in the comments below. And if you found this video valuable, please subscribe and hit the like button. It helps us bring you more stories like this one.